For Commandant, art is a curiosity, a detour on the journey to pure podcasting.
That's what Leonardo da Vinci was also aiming for, you know?
That's right.
He was like, Mona Lisa, launching my podcast. He was just like one step away.
we know which is the purer art form. Come on.
Right, just a stepping stone to the podcast, of course. Welcome to Science Fiction Book Club, a podcast for bookworms and stargazers. In every episode, we dive into the pages of our favorite science fiction novels to break down the big ideas, ask the nerdy questions, and maybe learn a bit about ourselves along the way. My name's Abu, and as always, I'm here with my companion through all time and space, Opsa.
That's right. Through every strand.
That's right. We are podcasting in every strand. That's either very impressive or incredibly embarrassing. You know?
It's the only constant.
So we are here to wrap up our conversation of This Is How You Lose the Time War.
That's right.
We covered the first half of the book in our last episode. And today, as the title indicates, we are covering chapters 13 to 25 and wrapping up this book.
Indeed. And as always, spoiler warning, Abu just said it, but we are, of course, covering the entirety of this book down to the final chapters here. So please make sure you've read through these last 12 chapters. And as always, we encourage you to read along with us, share your thoughts, email us at sci-fi bookclubpod@loreparty.com, and join our Patreon at patreon.com/sci-fi bookclubpod. We post free reading guides, discussion questions, all the bonus clips and bloopers you could hope for on that Patreon. And it's, of course, where you can also join our Discord, where we like to keep these nerdy sci-fi discussions going with fellow readers in our community, just like you.
That's right. And as always, those links are in the show notes below, so check them out after you're done listening. Okay, housekeeping out of the way, Opsa. Game plan for today's episode is the same as always. We'll start by summarizing the assigned chapters for today's episode. Then we'll share our impressions of the book in its entirety at this point, now that we've finished it. And finally, later in the episode, we will wrap up by diving deep in our sci-fi analysis and breaking down some themes and ideas. But before we do all of that, Opsa, let's take a quick break. Dear listener, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're wrapping up This Is How You Lose the Time War.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, welcome back, listeners. Let's begin with our brief summary of these final chapters, beginning with chapters 13 through 16, where we open up with Red winning a major battle, but emotionally feeling a little hollow without Blue. She then proceeds to consume the first 3 of the latest letters from Blue, which are contained within 6 seeds that Blue has sent her way. Blue's letters reveal the origins of her hunger. As a child, she was infected by enemy action, a kiss and something to eat. Garden consequently cuts her off completely to prevent contamination, which leaves her utterly alone for the first time. And though she's eventually reconnected, she's kind of kept at arm's length by Garden ever since, given her eccentricities, her deep hunger, her nonconformity with the rest of Garden's agents.
Yeah, she's an oddball.
She's an oddball, much like Red is, in fact. Curious. We wonder if we'll... In any case, we also re-encounter the mysterious shadow that we had first seen in, actually, I think even the first chapter, and it's continuing to follow both agents. Red is now obsessively pursuing it and eventually engages in pretty brutal hand-to-hand combat with it, which ends in a stalemate, but riveting stuff nonetheless.
Truly.
We then switch to Blue's perspective, where we see that Blue has also achieved a spectacular strategic victory for Garden, seemingly cementing Garden's victory in this time war. But even in her triumph, Blue thinks, I just can't wait for Red to see. The love
Same.
goes deep.
This is lover boy Abu in high school, like constantly having a crush in class and being like, "Did she see me? Did she?
Yeah, exactly.
Do that?"
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, there is something a little juvenile, a little heartwarming and cute about their romance, actually.
Yeah.
And in a really, I will say, stirring moment in one of Red's letters to Blue, she makes a confession. I love you, Blue.
Oh.
She also describes dreaming of being alone together, of, quote, drinking tea besides you in 10 years or 1,000.
Very sweet. I'm going to steal that one from Blue. There's some great, actually, if you're somebody who's looking for some tips on some beautiful things to write to your lover,
that's right.
check out this book, folks. There's some
absolutely
beautiful
true.
writing in here, and you should be stealing the things Red and Blue are saying to each other.
Correct.
I can't wait to drink tea with you in 10 years or 10,000. Get out of here. Incredible. Okay, moving on. Continuing our summary here. This next batch of chapters is quite tense. Chapters 17 through 19. Commandant summons Red and reveals that the agency has been tracking Blue's work up and down the threads and have noticed some very suspicious and repeat intersections with Red's path up and down these threads.
That's right.
Red, who thinks for just half a moment that she has been caught and it's all over, is relieved to hear that Commandant doesn't know the full picture, does not know about the letters yet.
That's right.
Instead, Commandant believes that Blue has been tailing Red and grooming Red for defection to the other side.
Right.
And so Commandant has summoned Red here to warn her. She also orders Red to use this opportunity to craft a poisoned letter using genetic steganography to undo this agent that's been on her tail.
Right.
Red is obviously backed up against a wall at this point, has no other choice except to comply. And so she does. She creates this plant with 3 layers. On the surface, there's a message intended for Blue, and then embedded in the next layer is a poison designed specifically to destroy Blue and kill her. But then, of course, in a secret 3rd layer, even beneath all of that, is a true love letter written to Blue that she will only be able to read after the poison is already coursing through her body and she is dying.
Oof.
And she's past the point of surviving.
Yeah.
Now, before sending this poison, Red sends a desperate warning to Blue. Quote, "Don't read what I send you after this." End quote. She is willing to end their romance, to end their communications, to go back to the status quo that we were at before chapter 1 of this book,
Right.
if it means Blue will survive. I love you so much that I'm willing to let you go forever because I'd rather you live than die at my hands. Now, Blue receives this warning from Red and also receives a bit of a warning from Garden. Garden directly communicates with Blue and confronts her and says, "Hey, you've been a little ambitious with your work and it's becoming a little too distinctive.
Right.
You're making it possible for the enemy to identify you.
Right.
You're not being as subtle as we typically are. You know, Garden is slow, deliberate, subtle. And you're being a little flashy with your jobs lately," which of course is obviously true. We've been reading about those jobs this whole book.
Yeah.
And of course, what Garden is warning Blue about has occurred. The agency has caught on to her scheming up and down these threads. It's been too obvious.
That's right. Moving on to our next batch of chapters here, 20 to 22. Blue has been, in fact, growing this poisoned plant for a year now and recognizes its obvious trap. And despite the warnings, Blue reaches this conclusion that if she doesn't consume the message, that agency will execute Red instead.
Ugh.
And so she does. She consumes every berry, every thorn, and every stem of the plant, embracing the pain that comes along with it, but
Oh my God.
also consequently being able to read that third hidden layer of Red's message to her. And though Red begs her at every line to stop, please stop reading.
This was a gut-wrenching letter to read. My
Really
goodness.
tough.
I had a tough
Really.
time reading this.
But Blue persists, and she reads Red's confession of love to her and continued wishes for them to have found a small place, a dog, some green grass that they could share together. And sadly, she seems to pass, and Red rushes to find her, unfortunately dead, but clutching a letter somehow with Red's true name, which she shouldn't have known. But at this point, Red is devastated and flees through time.
You know what I think Red's true name is? I think Red's true name is Samantha, and she goes by Sam. Doesn't Red give Sam energy?
That
Right?
is, I feel you might have clocked that. Of all
And
names
Blue's
that you
name is
could
something
have.
like April.
Sam and April. Amazing. Just
I don't know.
iconic.
That's just my headcanon, you know? That's my...
Yeah, you'll have to write the encyclopedia for this book where you reveal their true names. So good. Well, in any case, Red eventually she's kind of time hopping, jumping through dimensions and various strands, and comes to the world's end in one particular strand where she reads Blue's final letter and steps off a cliff to, I think for her, hopefully her death. But
Yeah.
in the end, she slips away in the last possible moment, believing that Blue wouldn't have wanted her to take such an easy exit.
Right.
And we continue to see Red struggling with the tragedy of Blue's death. She's broken, she's killing indiscriminately, and traveling to places that Blue loved. And in a pretty important scene, a bit of a turn here, she finds herself in a London tube station where she sees a mural and suspects that Blue may have left a message for her embedded within it. Red decodes the message and reaches the conclusion that lights some hope for her. The poison that she delivered to Blue was designed only to kill garden agents, not agencies.
Yeah.
And she thinks perhaps if she could reach Blue's childhood and infect young Blue with Red's resistance, she could maybe prevent Blue's death.
Ooh. And boy, does she. That is exactly
Boy,
what
does
Red
she.
does. My God. All right, let's wrap up this summary. Last couple chapters here, 23 to 25. Red disables all of Agency's tracking devices that are built into her body, and she begins to travel backwards. She traces all of their steps back through all of these letters that Red and Blue have sent to each other, collecting all of these little traces of Blue left behind in those instances. And this is the big reveal. Red has been the seeker, the shadow that's been trailing us all along in this book. She has been collecting physical bits of Blue and ingesting them in some way into her own body. Using Blue's final letter, Red transforms. She grows new organs. These green vines grow around her heart, which I thought was very beautiful and symbolic.
Yeah.
And she senses a ghost, a whisper of Blue's mind at the edges of her own. She has become enough Blue, quote unquote, to pass through Garden's defenses. And so she heads to Garden. She does the thing no one in Agency has ever been able to do before. She infiltrates Garden.
Right.
She flies back up thread to the childhood creche where Blue was birthed and raised. And she kisses a sleeping Blue, feeding her blood that contains both the poison and the antivenom from the plant in the future. Quote, "Carry hunger all your days. Let it guard you, guide you. save you. End quote.
Mm.
That hunger that Blue has always carried within her has been Red this whole time. My God.
That's right.
Of course, Garden is like, holy shit, we've been infiltrated. What the fuck is happening?
Totally.
And, they try to seek out the infection. They come after Red. They burn the Grove down. But Red is a top-tier agent, as we know. She's able to escape, just barely, make it back to her side of the shift, and unfortunately, basically crash lands and is captured by the agency, by her own agency. We then fast forward to her in prison. She is being tortured and questioned on how she was able to infiltrate Garden and what her relationship with Blue has been, etc. She doesn't answer any of these questions, of course, and so she faces execution. Commandant says, great, well, we're going to destroy you tomorrow. It's over for you. On her way back to the prison cell, her guard begins asking some interesting questions. Why didn't you defect to the other side? How were you able to get into Garden? Why are you doing this? Why aren't you answering Commandant's questions? Etc. And Red's response is honestly fire. Red says, quote, Garden doesn't deserve us. Neither does the agency. End quote. Holy shit.
Amazing. Yes.
Oh my
Mic
God.
drop.
What a thesis statement. I love it. A total mic drop moment. The guard, shoves her back into her cell, and that's where she finds a little white envelope. A letter from Blue.
That's right.
And Blue proposes in this final letter that they defect. Not to Garden, not to agency, but to each other. That they do something that's never been done before. Build a bridge between these two opposing shifts, between these two opposing factions. And we end the book on these final words from Blue to Red. Quote, this is how we win, Red. You and me. This is how we win. End quote. And that, folks, this is how you lose the Time War.
Oh,
My
incredible
goodness.
stuff. Incredible stuff.
Really, really great stuff. What did you think, Opsa, now that we've completed the book? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm almost still shell shocked, and it's obviously been weeks now since finishing this book, and I have to say this book in its entirety and in the way that the second half concluded was just nothing short of stunning. Like absolutely incredibly written, and just so brilliant. I think I'm so impressed with what the authors pulled off here. And these last chapters just completely bonkers, honestly. Like the scope of the storytelling, the ambition of the letters between Red and Blue, the poetic and emotional journey you're carried on, completely mind-blowing. And I would be lying if I said that I could always follow exactly what the fuck was going on at any particular time.
No, that's true. It's true.
But I think, like, especially as you approach the last couple of chapters, that increasingly makes sense because there are plots contained within plots. The final chapters connect to the beginnings, and it of course just mirrors the letters that are being exchanged between Red and Blue. So, recursive, nonlinear structure, very challenging, but I think the payoff is totally worth it by the end.
Yes.
I clearly loved this, the second half of the book.
I'm glad you did, yeah.
Curious, how about you? How did you feel about these final chapters?
I mean, I feel exactly the same. My goodness. Yeah. I deeply love this book.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit, when I read it for the first time a few years ago, most of this book went over my head.
Sure.
And I simply walked away going, cool, time travel, spy agent love story or something. Mm-hmm. That was fine. And I think the fact that we have spent so much time analyzing this book sentence by sentence for this podcast,
Yeah.
That is what has helped me appreciate the true depth and beauty of this story. If we hadn't done that, if I had blasted through this very short novella over the course of a long weekend or something, right, I would not have appreciated it in the way that our conversations and our research and analyses for this podcast have helped me understand. I also agree with you that the last section of this book, like the last third,
Yeah.
is incredible. It left me breathless.
Absolutely. Totally.
Like from the moment Red's poison kills Blue,
Right.
like up through the daring raid, Red infiltrating Guardian,
Totally.
like it's
Right.
frantic, it's intense, and
Yeah.
I found myself unable to stop reading. Like
Yes.
once the poison stuff started, I just blasted through the end of the book because I was like, "There's no way I can stop and go to
know.
bed. What are you fucking talking about?"
Totally.
I also, I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but I'm kind of a big sucker for time loop stories.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the fact that this is a beautiful time loop story,
Yes.
the revelation of who the Seeker is and how always has been all along in this whole book,
Yeah.
just loved. Blew my
Totally.
mind. And I loved how Red and Blue have always been a part of each other.
Yeah.
And because time is so irrelevant to them, their love story has always existed.
Yeah.
Is such a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
And they've always been such an intricate and deep part of each other. They were meant for
Yeah.
each other.
Totally. There's a thing that Blue says that comes to mind, and I think it's towards the end where she says, I died by my hand, but I was raised by yours. And it was just like,
Yeah.
oh
Oh
my
my
God,
God.
incredible. Like it's so true. Like the
Incredible.
way that they inform and have shaped one another in this like really fun, loopy way is just fascinating, honestly.
It's so well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, like I'm a sucker for a time loop story, but I'll be the first to admit most time loop stories are like bad and a little convoluted and
Sure.
somewhat rely on some sort of like Deus Ex Machina to make the story work.
Yeah,
This one is perfectly constructed. I have no complaints.
I agree.
I don't see any plot holes here. I think it loops in on itself in a perfect circle,
Totally.
which is very difficult to do, and you have to give the authors credit here. I also think there's some deeply heart-wrenching moments that really just made me stop in my tracks. I even sent you a screenshot last week of just the page, the very
Right.
small single page of Blue's letter where she says, quote, "As you wish." And then she signs it with the letter B.
B. Yeah, I know.
No
Oh,
love
I
Blue,
know.
no yours forever Blue.
Yeah.
Just B.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is in response to Red saying, like, we should stop talking because they're going to kill you.
Totally.
And Blue's letter says so much in just 3 words, "as you wish." Oh my gosh, gut wrenching. When I flipped to that page, I literally gasped out loud, immediately screenshotted it and texted you. It's amazing stuff. I want to share one other line that made me deeply emotional. I legitimately
Yeah.
teared up at this. And the line goes like this, quote, "What is this but clutching straws against death and time? What is love ever but..." And then the sentence cuts off and the quote ends. And my God,
Yeah.
what is love but clutching at straws against death and time?
Oh,
You don't have to finish that sentence. You've
No.
already devastated me.
yes, yes. Yeah, that's the thing about this
Beautiful.
book. You could almost honestly pick up any page of any chapter and be
Yeah.
confronted with words that are so revelatory that you'll just be shook, honestly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Except for maybe the Macintosh God chapter. That one's a bit of a joke. but-
I loved it, I will say.
I loved
praise
it.
Siri.
Yeah. Yeah. It just lacked the depth and the beauty
Sure,
of, you know,
sure. The
what
emotional
is love
weight,
but
sure, of some of these.
clutching at straws against death
Yeah,
and time.
totally,
My God.
totally.
So all of that is to say, I really don't have any critiques. I'm walking
Yeah.
away from the entirety of this book going, no notes. Perfect.
Yes,
a
correct.
nearly perfect book as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to maybe throw this thought out, and I'm so curious what you think.
Yeah.
I did see one source that said that the story had been optioned for adaptation. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be adapted. It means it's like sort of out in the marketplace of potential adaptations, which I think many books are. You know, the books are constantly floating out there and being optioned around. So that isn't to say this is going to be adapted or anything. But I couldn't stop thinking while reading this book and then rereading many of these chapters, I couldn't stop thinking about how someone would do justice to this story. Because I think on one hand, it's such a beautiful story and could work so well. And on the other hand, I think you could utterly botch it, you know?
Totally.
Like, I think in the wrong hands, someone who like only understands the love story between Red and Blue on just like a surface level, right?
Yeah.
Time traveling agents fall in love. that adaptation just becomes like a multiverse Romeo and Juliet in space movie.
Right.
Like, that's bad. Nobody wants that.
Right.
But I think in the right hands, someone who can capture the deeply meaningful themes of the story and has the like creativity to create these like vivid and deeply memorable universes that Red and Blue are traveling through and battling each other against. That I think would make for a truly incredible movie or TV show.
Absolutely.
If it can be pulled off to that level of quality and be able to tell the emotional story at its core.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Opsa? Would a Time War by any other name still smell as sweet?
Well put. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. And I similarly, as I was reading through it this second time, was just thinking about adaptations of this, and what they could possibly, like, how could you pull off an adaptation of this? And I honestly, like, I worry that a live action adaptation would somewhat miss the mark. So my mind is immediately anime is like I feel like is maybe it has to be, and that's the only way you could really, I think, capture all of the spectacular worlds that we encounter, chapter after chapter here.
Agreed.
And even then, only so many directors that I would want to entrust with this, I know. Like, it's, and it's part of it is obviously there is a complex plot here, and that's obviously key to the story, but it's also just the poetic language. You really want to capture.
Right. How do you capture that?
The full richness of that, and they're just, it would be easy to fall short, I think, of the mark. You really want a very faithful adaptation, I think, of this book. I agree. So I don't know. I would be nervous about an adaptation coming out anytime soon, personally.
Right. I agree. I think I still fall in the camp of I'd like one. I'd be interested in one. I would jump at the chance to watch one. Apple, if you're listening. But I would be so nervous. I would go in on my tiptoes, walking on eggshells into an adaptation. Just ready to be disappointed, because I think it is a monumental task to make it work. But if it works, my God, it would be a masterpiece.
Totally. Yeah, if anything, I almost, just personally, because I've been so frequently disappointed by adaptations, I think I'm too scarred to in fact watch one made of this. But that said, for those that may not, be as willing to dive into the book, I feel like an adaptation would hopefully capture enough of the spirit of it and invite more audiences into what is genuinely one of the best pieces of fiction I think that either of us has encountered in quite a long time.
I agree. Yeah, what a great book. My goodness. Okay, well, that is the summary of the second half of the book and some of our thoughts on this incredible story. Let's take another quick break. Folks, don't go anywhere, though, because when we come back, we have a takeaway to get through. We're going to get into our sci-fi analysis in just a minute.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Tap the banner or visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Sterling K. Brown from the Hulu original series Paradise. The next chapter begins as Xavier's search for his wife takes him above ground, and what he finds will change everything. It was never just about the bunker. Tune in and discover the truth lies outside. Paradise, the official podcast, premieres February 16th and stream Paradise on February 23rd on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Welcome back, listeners. As always, let's dive right into our sci-fi analysis. And Abu, I think you've got quite an exciting one for us today.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into this. So for today's takeaway, here's the rabbit hole I wanted to go down. I wanted to explore the title of the book itself. This is how you lose the time war. Because I think one of the most powerful ideas at the heart of this book is the ways in which love, the love that blossoms between Red and Blue, redefines what it means to win for these two soldiers on the opposing sides of a war. I also think on a personal level, it's beautiful that these two shape-shifting beings, right, were never actually given a physical description of either of them outside of the quote-unquote masks they wear when they are undercover on missions, right?
Right.
They are shapeshifters. They can take on other masks. As far as we know, Red is just like some sort of consciousness that jacks in and out of a robot body and back into the Matrix and stuff. And I think it's beautiful that the thing that completely changes them, that fully shapeshifts their very beings, is the love that blossoms between them.
Right.
And so I want to explore this idea of winning and losing and war and love and change in my takeaway today.
Beautiful.
So to start, I think one of the biggest things that's changed for Red and Blue is that for them, winning now means creating rather than destroying. Because we know Red and Blue are both top of their class agents. They're the best at what they do out there.
That's right.
And they both work for factions who basically view the threads of time, the infinite threads of time, as pieces on a chessboard, right?
Right.
You maneuver this one there, you sacrifice that one here, and you just make sure everything works out how you want it to.
Right.
And like all wars, this like strategic song and dance that these two factions are playing mostly involves destroying things, right?
Right.
It's a lot of destructive energy. And
Yes.
that destructive language is baked into both Red and Blue's chapters throughout this whole book, right? There's a lot of bloodshed. There's a lot of sacrificing people left and
whole
right.
civilizations.
Atlantis,
several different
have you
ways.
ever heard of it?
That's right.
And look, for what it's worth, Red and Blue have gotten very good at destroying things. It's
Right.
their job, and they're the best at it. Blue even writes in one of her letters, quote, "To be soft for me is so often pretense," end quote.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
I'll be soft if I need to for a job, but I'm
Yeah.
a killer. That's what
right.
I was born to do.
Yeah.
So flipping that around, once Red and Blue find this love in each other, and by the end of the novel, it's clear that they are sick of the lives that they've known. This endless cycle of death and destruction. And I found this moment from Red extremely impactful that I think makes this very clear, that they are moving on from the death and destruction. This is right after Red develops that poison to kill Blue. Quote, "The next day, they close the lab. It's due to be destroyed. A bomb. A footnote of history. Red watches the explosion. She was ordered to save no one.
Oof.
She saved a few anyway. What deaths history could spare." End quote.
Oh, man.
She saved a few anyway. That is a different Red than the Red at the start of the book in the opening chapter that was walking through,
That's true.
thousands of bodies that she had
Massacred. Yeah.
that she had massacred.
Yeah.
That is a totally different Red. Love has reshaped what this war means for them. They no longer want to be agents of destruction. They want to create something together. Love has totally flipped that around for them. Blue writes, quote, "We're the best there is at what we do. Shall we do something we've never done?" End quote. Oh my God.
I
The two
love
greatest agents of destruction will
Yeah.
now be creating something new together because of their love. Love
Yeah.
has totally reshaped that perspective for them. Okay, moving on from that. Another thing love has totally changed. For Red and Blue, winning now means making this war irrelevant. Not caring about this war anymore.
Right.
Because as we know, war is a zero-sum game. Our side wins or their side wins. And this is what Red and Blue have been raised to believe their entire lives. This is how they've viewed all of time and existence, all of these threads they've operated in for centuries, millennia, however long. That is, until they discover that this true, vulnerable, deep love and connection for each other exists.
Yeah.
This is a love that opens new possibilities as well as new dangers. And this is the love that allows Red to infiltrate Garden, which I found deeply ironic and satisfying.
Yeah.
that love turns out to be the best war strategy. The thing agency and Garden could not conceive of, love for the other side, is the thing that unlocked the ultimate goal, to infiltrate the other side.
Right.
So I found that really hilarious, that
Yeah.
honestly, the way to win the war is the thing neither of them were capable of doing, loving the other side.
Right.
Now, of course, by the end of the book, Red and Blue have completely abandoned this endless war between their factions. And instead, they're going to explore a third option. They're going to create a space in between just for the two of them. And it's not going to be easy, but for them, it's going to be worth it because love is worth it. And in doing so, in creating this third space, they are creating something that neither sides of this war can even conceptualize.
Right.
A space for mutual recognition, a space for joy in another's existence, joy in the enemy's existence, a space of shared reality that belongs to neither of them, to neither Garden nor agency.
Right.
A third space that neither has ever conceived before. Love is what has helped Red and Blue conceive that a third place can exist, which I found deeply beautiful.
Yeah, what an observation.
Okay, one more thing. I know I'm going further down the rabbit hole, but one more thing that I think has changed for Red and Blue. Winning for Red and Blue is no longer about defeating the other side. It is about taking an ultimate risk on freedom. As we explored in your takeaway, your excellent takeaway from last episode, Red and Blue are both parts of these like deeply connected societies where individuality has been smothered in the warm embrace of the hive mind collective, you know? And for Red and Blue to break away from that collective, to break away from that hive mind, is a radical choice.
Totally.
And so radical, in fact, that we see the great lengths that agency and Garden go to try and stop them.
That's right.
And in a society like that, in a society like agencies or gardens, allegiance is just inherent, right? You're born into this agency, you are a part of this agency, you believe in this agency.
That's right.
But love, on the other hand, there is nothing inherent about connecting deeply with another person. There is nothing safe or assured. Love is a leap of faith. Agency and Garden provide safety in the known.
Right.
They impose an identity on their people. Let us tell you who you are, what you believe, and what your role in this society is. Take comfort in that, in being assured of everything. Red and Blue's love, on the other hand, is the ultimate rejection of that. Through their love, they're discovering new beliefs and new worldviews that are uncomfortable and difficult and challenging.
And uncertain.
They have infected each other. I mean, literally and figuratively in the course of this, over the course of this story.
Right.
And so love has completely changed who they are, literally and figuratively.
Right.
Blue, throughout the book, if you notice the language Blue uses, she begins to appreciate more of the mechanical parts of the universe, the ones and zeros. On the other hand, Red begins to admire more of the natural world. She talks in one letter about how she's never really thought about birds before, but now she can't stop noticing them. Each of their universes is literally expanding because of love.
Right.
Their universes, their worldviews were contained within Garden, within agency, within those scopes. Love has broken those boundaries, and now their universes are expanding.
Yeah.
And I think once you've felt that, once you've felt your world expanding in that way, the warm embrace of some hive mind collective culture that you left behind is going to feel suffocatingly hot.
Yeah.
It's going to feel like a trap. And by the end, of course, they defect. They no longer want to be suffocated by the scope of the agency or Garden.
That's right.
Those are the big three ways that I think winning and losing have been redefined for Red and Blue. They want to create, not destroy. They want to make this war irrelevant. And they want to take a risk on freedom and the unknown. And so I want to end by going back to the beginning. The very first words of this book are this, quote, "When Red wins, she stands alone," end quote. And then a few chapters later, we get this passage, quote, "When Blue wins, which is always, she moves on to the next thing. End quote. And I think we see by the end of the book, those two definitions of winning have completely changed for Red and Blue. Now that they've experienced love, they can see how hollow those old victories were. Now, for them, winning means never standing alone, never moving on. They have found love, they have found each other, and finally, they've won.
Boom! Mic drop. Let him cook. Oh, boo. Absolutely brilliant analysis. I love that so
Thank
much.
you.
I totally agree. And I mean, it so resonates, I think. I mean, you can't finish this book without a strong feeling that you've walked away from what at times was a tragedy, but by the end is an epic romance. You know, it is you feel the weight and the power of love and how it really does transform these two agents of destruction, of death, you know, of mayhem, you know, of chaos, who come from opposing factions that seem diametrically opposed to each other. But I think also as you were speaking, it was occurring to me how similar actually in so many ways Agency and Garden really are, you know, in their singular view and outlook on what victory is in this war that they're on opposite sides of. And I agree. You totally see how love transforms, in particular Red and Blue, in ways that neither factions could have imagined. And it defeats both factions in a sense, you know?
Right. It utterly trumps the whole conflict between these two factions.
Totally. Honestly, such an insightful analysis there, Abu. I really appreciate that. I mean, I have to say, I appreciate a book like this one in the time that we're currently living in, where there is a lot of conflict and strife. And, you know, I am obviously from a state that has experienced a lot of divisive and painful kind of recent events. And going into this book, I knew we were in for a fun sci-fi adventure, but I can't say that I was expecting a message kind of as timely and as important, I think, as this one. That it's really, you know, this deeply kind of human quality of love, this like really amazing thing that is able to bridge those divides and to allow you to create third spaces that, you know, you previously wouldn't have imagined. Just powerful stuff here, and an excellent book.
Yeah. What a great book. Okay. Now we're going to take all of that in-depth conversation and nuance and boil it down into a number because we got to give this book a final rating. So everything we've been talking about for the past hour and all of last episode, I need you to summarize that down.
Yeah.
Run it through whatever LLM is in your brain. Let's hear it, Opsa. What is your final rating for this book?
Honestly, this is quite easy for me. This is
really
fully a perfect book. I have no comments, no criticism, no critiques to offer here. This is simply 5 dying and reborn strands out of 5.
Wow!
A flawless book. I fully expect that I will be
from Opsa himself.
That's right.
And you even stuck to the rating scale. You didn't do some weird like 30 out of 29 or something, you know?
No, this honestly, this book was just so lovely. I'm so happy we had a chance to cover it for the podcast. And I fully expect that I will be revisiting this book again and again for years. Now, Boo, you got to give me your rating. Hit me with that single number.
I think this book is 5 secret love letters out of 5 secret love letters.
Oh my God. Is it unanimous?
It's unanimous.
It's unanimous.
This is an incredible book. This is a science fiction book club approved book. Put that stamp on the fucking cover, folks.
Masterpiece.
We love this book. It's a masterpiece. And what is so interesting to me is I wouldn't recommend this book to everybody. In fact, I have a very
That's
close
funny.
friend
Very true.
who was just trying to read this book. And I texted her and I said, hey, Opes and I are covering it on the podcast. Check out our episode. I think you'll like the discussion. And she responded, I'm so sorry, Abu. I couldn't get through the book. I gave up on it.
Tough, yeah.
It was just a jumble of words to me that made no sense. And I can't even criticize that.
No, yeah, it's fair.
That's fair. I don't
Totally.
think this book is actually for everyone, and I don't think it will land for everyone. But I think for the people it will land for, God damn it, will it land.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can really walk away with just like a moderate middle opinion on this book. I mean, either you get into it and you realize this is not for me, or you get to the end of it and you realize this is a book that I've been missing on my shelf for forever.
Yeah, what an incredible book. All right, folks, that's it. That wraps up our coverage of This Is How You Lose the Time War. We are moving on to another book that I hear very good things about.
Indeed.
Here's the assignment for the next episode, folks. Make sure that you've read the first 15 chapters of Project Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah.
That's the next book that we are going to read, and we have structured our schedule to make sure that we can finish the book just in time for the movie. And then, of course, Opsa, you and I will also be covering the movie on this podcast. So I'm very
most
excited
certainly.
for that film starring Ryan Gosling. There's whispers of it being a really incredible movie, whispers of like Oscar Academy Award nomination worth movie. So I'm looking forward to the movie. I've not read Project Hail Mary before, but everyone I've talked to about it says it is incredible. So I'm excited to get into it with you and all of our listeners.
That's right. And of course, you can find our entire season's reading schedule in the show notes. So take a look at that. And as mentioned earlier, of course, check out the Patreon and leave some comments for us. We love hearing from fellow listeners and readers in the community.
That's right. Well, friends, viewed from sufficient height, all problems are simple. All knots can be untied with a few deaths, or 10,000. So help us untie those knots by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And be sure to check out the other shows on the Lore Party Podcast Network on loreparty.com. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, we would rather break the world than lose you.
I think that's true. I think we've just asked them to be co-conspirators with us in a
That's right.
number of homicides. So
That's right.
lovely.